With the 2026 academic year underway, many grade 12s are finalizing their subject sets. How should they balance their current strength against the specific AS level requirements for priority fields like STEM or education?
Yeah, it is very essential for each and every learner to have some alignment with their goals, alignment with their abilities, as well as the demands of the AS. And having that in their minds, they should be realistic about, are they ready? Are they ready for AS? And also, what are their future goals? What are their long-term goals? So which means that the learner should not just take AS as a status symbol. AS is not a status symbol, it's part of education. And that it should be aligned to their goals in the future, their vision, where they want to be, their employment fields that they want to be, or in whatever field they would want to embark upon in the future. So it should not be seen as a status symbol. And secondly, in terms of STEM and then education in English in itself, I would say that the learners, the STEM subjects on AS, it's not, for example, just a stepping stone. It is a critical mechanism for the children. It's a gatekeeping mechanism for them to be able to know the direction they are going. If there is a fundamental reason, purpose why they are taking those STEM subjects on or English. So what it means is then that they should be able to look at the foundations. Where is this subject leading for me? If we are taking, for example, mathematics, mathematics is for computer sciences. Mathematics is for engineering. It's for physics. And then when we are coming again also to biology and chemistry, that leads the learner then also to the medicine, the medical fields, as well as the life sciences. In terms of English in itself, so English, for example, and then the other subject knowledge, the subjects that they have, the in-depth knowledge they should have, leads them, for example, to education pathways. So which is critical. The medium of instruction is in our schools in Namibia is English. So what does it say? English is also a critical part of that as well. So we must not just take subjects for the matter and getting to AS for the matter and the status of it, but having a purpose and an aim for that as well.
Now, it's confusing to lay parents and more specific, or especially to learners. How can you simplify this AS system in a brief explanation?
AS in itself, if I can then explain to a parent, it's a bridging between the formal school and the institutions of higher learning. It is laying a strong foundation for the complexities that the learners can expect at universities and colleges. So that is why AS is like a bridging, like a foundation for them to be able to understand the critical content and the complex content at higher education institutions. So the parents should understand, as I said earlier, it is not for status. So a learner who is taking AS should be a learner who can think critically, have analytical skills, problem-solving skills. He should have digital skills, research skills. It should be a self-starter, a learner who is independent in his studies. A teacher is not standing behind them. The lecturer will not stand behind them. They should know that they have a responsibility towards their own studies, and it's taking accountability for that. They manage their time. They have to decide, I have this study timetable which I have to follow. So they have to decide that I have to go to the library now. I have to do my research now. So that is what AS is. It's not for any learner who, from grade 8, a parent was asking, did you study? Where are your books? And so on. At AS level, there is no such luxury. You have to be informed of what is expected of you.
Now, what is your message to parents who may feel pressured to push their children into AS level than if the students' ordinary level performance suggests a different vocational path will be more successful?
It will be very strange to see a parent who is pressured at grade 11 level. The thing with us Namibians is that we think school starts at grade 11. We think education starts at grade 11. When it gets to grade 11, the whole nation is up in arms. How will the results look like? Will my child pass? There is so much stress and frustration and hype around grade 11. School starts at home. Informal education starts at home. And then we are going through to primary education, grade 0, pre-grade. That's where formal education is starting. So when a parent is engaged already at that level, then I believe that the parent is working with the child through the challenges, the struggles, to understand what is the end goal of my child. What career does this child want to follow? That is what it should start there. So the pressure comes because we are not engaged. Pressure comes when we are so focused on grade 11. So the career guidance at schools are starting at primary school already to lay a foundational direction for this learner where he has to go, be guided by the life skills teachers. So the pressure need not to be there. For example, all learners need not to go to grade 11, grade AS, grade 12 AS. Learners, the first exit is in grade 11. A learner who wants to go into creative industries, fashion and fabrics, arts, and so on, needs not to go to grade 11. A learner who wants to go into hospitality field needs not to go to grade 11. This child is taking hospitality in grade 11. Is taking, for example, entrepreneurship. Is taking, for example, what? Home economics. So NAST, our current NAST, is offering that. Grade 11 exit, you go to Polytechnic and you are skilled there and you are equipped, tooled, and you go out. So parents must get involved from the onset, work with the learners, give them direction, give them guidance, be part. Then there needs not to be any pressure at grade 11.
Because I think most parents, they just think, well, it's good. They give the entire responsibility to the teachers, not understanding that it's equally, you know, the teachers and the parents' responsibility to help them in their education.
There must be collaboration, there must be coordination. We have to work together and act in the best interest of the Namibian child, all of us collectively.
Now, English remains a compulsory promotional subject with specific sample requirements. If a student is struggling with English but excelling in others, what alternative pathways can you give as an advice to them and their parents?
When we are talking about English, as I said earlier, it's a medium of instruction. It's the official language of the country. So the English symbols that they should attain, for example, at different levels, different NQF levels have different requirements for English. So, for example, level 6 and level 5 and 6 will require English symbol F1. And then when it comes to the 7 and 8, the symbol required for English is we cannot get away from it. That one is then an E. But the different pathways is TVET fields where there is no need for you, and there's no requirement actually from the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture. So we can venture into the TVET fields. And then as I said earlier also, the hospitality falls also under TVET. So the students can then take that pathway and then still excel. We believe, in the past, we believed that TVET, it's inferior, but TVET stands equal with academic fields as well. And TVET, for me, it's a broader and a better field. Why? Because the learner needs not to wait for someone to employ him. He can create his own employment. If I am in hospitality and I can bake cakes, I bake and I sell. If I can make clothing, I make dresses whatsoever and I sell. So I'm creating my own employment, plus I can employ others as well. So TVET is the way to go for Namibia, my belief.
Speaking about TVET, do you think also that it's very important for parents to identify, especially when the child in their upbringing, to also try and find out the interest of the child? Because sometimes parents will say, no, I want my child to reach AS level, but then they may not necessarily be so interested in books to that point. So is it necessary for parents to know that, okay, like you're saying, grade 10, grade 11, maybe it's best we send the child to a vocational training center, or maybe they should be involved in, in a TVET sector while improving in this area? Do you think it's necessary for parents to do that?
I think it is absolutely necessary. It is essential, and that only can happen when a parent is present in the child's life, not only physically, but emotionally, psychologically, and all the other ways that they can be engaged with the child to ensure that they see at home what the child is interested in. And if they don't know that, then they can still go to Ministry of Labour. They are doing aptitude tests on the learners and see what is the interest of this learner so that they can go into those fields as well. So there are also, from the government side, we have the systems which are in place who can help us so that we ensure to help the Namibian child and our own children at home as well. Yes, it is critical.
Not to move away from the topic, I would like us to talk about the essence of discipline in schools and homes. What is the essence of discipline in schools for learners or in a setting?
Whose responsibility is discipline? Maybe Wilhan should start there. I think education as well as discipline starts at home, and parents are the first teachers of their children. The foundation of discipline must be in line at home, and discipline is critical. Without discipline, we cannot go forward. Discipline sets standards. Discipline guides. Discipline gives that this is right and this is wrong. Discipline is telling you to control yourself. It helps you in self-control and it helps you in direction. It shapes the character of the person. So discipline is a vital pillar in the development of any individual. A person without discipline cannot go forward, because you are swayed by anything. When you are with this person, you are following that person and other person, because there is no value system of discipline in your life. So discipline is a critical thing, setting standards, guiding, and all those type of things. If we are looking at athletes, a person who is disciplined, and I have decided I'm going, for example, an athlete to Olympics in 5 years' time. I wake up in the morning, I go to the tracks, I exercise, I eat lean meat, I stay away from alcohol, I stay away from drugs, I stay away from anything which will drag me back. I have discipline. Whether it's sunny, whether it's cold, whether it's windy, I'm going to exercise. That's discipline.
Now, we often hear from teachers that would say, well, discipline starts from home. But if it is from home, what is the responsibility of the teacher then in terms of discipline?
I said even that earlier, discipline starts at home. The parent is the person who is responsible for laying down discipline at home.
Foundation of
you
it.
have to set, you must have a vision for your family. You must have a mission statement for your family. You must have core values for your family. So you have to set as a parent standard. This is how we are behaving as a family. So in that sense, discipline starts at home. As I said, discipline, education starts at home. The foundation should start there. And the parent must send a disciplined learner to the school. The teacher's function, for me, is to teach, to mark, to assess, to evaluate, to do revision, see which learners are struggling, help those learners. Education cannot take place in chaos. Education cannot take place in disorder. So discipline creates order. So if parents send disciplined learners, it makes the work of the teacher easier. So the teacher will further go in for character shaping, for the holistic development of the child. So the teacher, through life skills and holistically, all the other teachers in their subjects are supposed to play that role to discipline the child. But discipline must be in line as well.
Now, since the global shift away from corporal punishment, many schools have struggled to find effective alternatives. What does positive discipline look like in practice, and why do some critics feel it isn't tough enough?
Positive discipline must be applied properly, consistently, just, and fair. So it can work. So positive discipline must be in line. Whatever offense the child has done must be in line with the way that you are disciplining the child. For example, a child is coming every day late, and then you are suspending the child. What are you doing? The child is losing out on school work now. And for example, a child is not doing homework, and then you decide you are suspending this child, or you are asking the child to go and cut a tree. So what does it entail? So the offense, and there must be the positive discipline means corrective action. There must be improvement in a child's life. So a child did not do homework, and then you are saying, go and cut the tree now, that tree up. So what does it do with homework? So if a child did not do homework, You ask this child, okay, you are not doing homework at home. Now after school, you are going to the library. You sit there, and then you are doing homework under the supervision of the LRC or prefect or myself as the teacher. So positive discipline can work if everything is in line. The schools must have rules which are applied, not just on paper. There must be functional rules which are acting in the interest of the child, and the corrective action comes out of that.
And that could be true. Sometimes they're not doing homework because at home it might not be a conducive environment for the child.
Exactly.
Now, finally, if you could advise the Ministry of Education on one policy change regarding school conduct, what would it be?
The Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture has beautiful policies, beautiful regulations which are in place. I would not want and I would not advise them to change anything. The only thing is that the policies must be functional. They must be applied. They must not just be there for nothing. For example, very good policies are the prevention and management of learner pregnancy. A good policy, it must be applied for learners. Girl children after being pregnant, giving birth, must come back to school. It must be applied consistently across the regions, across the systems as well. And then also the policy on inclusive education, it's there. It is there, but is it functional? So the policies must be functional. Inclusive education. A learner is sitting in a formal education class, at a normal curriculum class in a formal school, but their child is intellectually impaired, cannot see, cannot hear. Is the teacher trained to help this child? Is this child wasting time in the school? So policies must be functional. The ministry has very good policies. Let them be implemented functionally and be applied properly so that they can work for the child, the ministry, and the country at large.